Good morning and welcome to our first August ISM Lunch and Learn webinar. Today we're going to be talking to Pat at Website Pipeline. He's going to be showing us his CIMcloud, his SimCloud, and talking about the services they have to offer. So Pat, thank you and welcome.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for having us, and ISM for having us today. We're excited to kind of run through some information here on our end and what we do and how we help our customers. So without further ado, again, I am Pat. I'm from CIMcloud by Website Pipeline. Today I want to go through just kind of high level, painting the picture of what we're seeing in the industry, how our solution applies to the manufacturing distribution arena, and really where our product's going as far as R&D and development. So we got some pretty exciting stuff coming out that's built on top of our existing integrated e-commerce, which we've been doing for a while now. So I think it's pretty cool to dive into and see, again, what we're coming up with and how we can help you guys hopefully increase business and lower your costs. So without further ado, I'll jump into this PowerPoint presentation here. And to go through some of the topics, just a quick agenda so you know what we're going to discuss today. First thing I want to touch on is the digital transformation. Again, what's happening in the industry, how we're seeing companies react to what's changing in the industry and what pieces of software or tools they're trying to implement to make sure that they're giving the best solution to their customers while still being efficient internally. So we'll go through a little bit of that, then touch on the Website Pipeline base offering, what really got us started as a company back in '99, and how we've been successful until this point. And then the third topic here, I'll quickly jump into CIMcloud, which is our new branding, new name, just because we came up with some additional product offerings that touch on a little bit more than what we've done in the past. So I'll definitely give you some insight on where we're going and what CIMcloud looks like and how that's built on top of our base offering Website Pipeline side of things. So a little bit of identity change here on our end. We're trying to expand the product offering. Very much the same organization, same company. We haven't been purchased or acquired. Still a great group of people here. We have about 75 employees, which I'll touch on here in a second, a little bit about us. So good stuff. First slide here, digital transformation. Again, this is just high level, painting the picture of what we're seeing in the industry. So across the board, I kind of read up on the IDC's information, kind of a third party organization that does a lot of data on the industry as far as how companies are still surviving or competing or trying to get a competitive advantage. And one of the main pieces that they bring up in a recent report is the whole concept of digital transformation. That's definitely at the forefront for most CEOs or executives or business leaders in today's world. They've realized that in order to stay competitive or at least continue to have a competitive advantage over their competitors, it's definitely a necessity to look into the digital transformation and how they can get away from the old 90s style of doing business with customers and really moving into or shifting into the day and age we're in now with how customers self-serve, looking at products and things like that, and that's exactly what we do here at Website Pipeline CIMcloud. So this is a quick diagram. We can share this PowerPoint. You guys can have that for sure. Just certainly reach out to Share Your ISM and they can give you some of that information. We'll make sure they have that. Next slide here, this is just another quote from that report, so I'm not going to read it to you. You can obviously see that here on the screen. But again, it's talking about how the IT industry is shifting, how you're engaging with your customers, and how you're allowing them to do business with you. So our whole premise is to allow you to keep, and grow your customer base and allow you to perform those activities better, faster, and cheaper. Because at the end of the day, if we can increase your bottom line and you can generate a return on investment for the investment you would make with a product that we offer, it's a win-win for everybody. So we certainly want that to happen for your organization because it's fun for us, it's exciting, and everybody's winning. So it's a good place to be in. Next slide here, again, just some quick facts, painting the picture again about what's happening in the industry, specifically wholesale manufacturing distribution. They're seeing a huge shift of customers demanding this type of solution. So just by the end of 2017, 2/3 of CEOs and global enterprises, they'll have digital transformation at the center of their corporate strategy. And then by 2018, 60% of B2B companies will overhaul their digital front door. So it's really used to, again, keep and grow your customer base, really focused on growing that customer base. Because if you can scale and provide a self-service solution, you can tremendously add customers without having to add additional headcount internally to support those customers because it's much more efficient. So just some quick facts there from the IDC. Again, a third-party reputable source, not coming straight from the words of my mouth because I'm trying to sell a product, but I just want you to see what's happening in the industry. So one quick fact here, and then I'm going to move on to some other information. 89% of B2B buyers are starting to use the internet to research products before they buy. So this has been very prevalent in the private sector or just the consumer sector. For myself, as an example, I used to be in real estate, and every potential home buyer or home seller start their process of trying to sell or buy a home online now. So it's a huge market. It's where all the customers are going. They have unlimited access to information, and the B2B buyers are now trying to replicate that type of interaction with software in their private life to how they do business when they're working. So this is definitely becoming more and more prevalent, and we're seeing a huge uptick in growth in having these e-commerce solutions, specifically ones that are integrated into your back-end system to make your life easier and to make your customers' lives easier. So some industries, excuse me, industries that have transformed over the years, just to again paint the picture and to show you how things have evolved or how industries have evolved. The first one here is a good example. It's banking industry. So back in the day, you used to have to go to the bank. You'd go to the teller or wait in line and say, hey, okay, today I want to deposit this check, or I want to move money from this account to this account. I want to make a payment on this loan. Can I do a withdrawal? You would have to go to the bank to do that. Well, then banks figured out they can revolutionize that because it's a very consistent request from customers, getting money out, transferring money, depositing money. They said, hey, let's develop the ATM. So the banks that didn't follow suit and develop ATMs, you could definitely see a decrease in their customer segment because customers wanted that access. So this is just an example of an industry that took advantage of customer self-service and allowing systems to tap into their heartbeat of the business or their ERP system or back-end system, financial software, and allow that to then drive an application that customers can do anytime, 24/7. They can go to ATM, withdraw money, and then we can even take it a step further than what we're seeing on this diagram here and say mobile banking. So I hardly ever go to the bank anymore. On the few occasions where I actually have a check, I will take a picture of the check and deposit it into my account. So it's very, very self-automated. I don't have to go to the bank. It just makes life a lot easier, and it cuts down the cost for the bank industry or the banks themselves. And so again, just a win-win for everybody. Another example, just real quick, and I'll move on to some demo stuff here, but the box office, tickets, sporting events, concerts, things like that. You no longer go to the box office usually to buy tickets. There still are some of those transactions happening, but most of them are now happening on solutions like a StubHub or other applications that are similar that will allow you to log on, view tickets anytime you want. It could be the middle of the night, what have you, and then purchase those tickets and have them show up digitally in your inbox or an email, and it just makes life a lot easier. So that's just another example. Now we're getting into more specific to our customer segment, who I'm talking to today, individuals who are in the manufacturing and distribution arenas. So effectively, you have your ERP systems, and specific to this conversation here, we can talk Sage products. We also do Microsoft Dynamics products. But effectively, we're taking the information that you have stored in your back office system, so the heartbeat of your organization, all the critical data resides there, and we're allowing customers to pull that out through specific logins through a website application and allow them to view information such as account history, invoice history, purchase products at their pricing, things like that. Again, just allowing them to self-serve and really cutting down on how much it costs you internally to service your customers. So it's just, again, a win-win for both parties. What we've done, or what we've tried to accomplish over the years, back since '99 when we started, we wanted to transform this specific industry of wholesale manufacturing and distribution specific to the Sage and Microsoft Dynamics arena. We take the complex back office systems, again, the heartbeat of your business. It contains all the key business data you need to operate as a business, and it really has limited access to it because you have to have trained reps and logins to get into that system to be able to accurately read that information and use it proactively and efficiently. So what we decided to do way back when was build a front office system that integrates with this information. And what this does is it's designed, again, for the self-service application. There's no training required. Very much most users are used to the e-commerce environment and how that works and how to use a system like that. So it's very easy to use. It's very easy to allow customers to self-serve, therefore the adoption rate goes up, therefore the return on investment for a solution like this is much higher. So that's typically what we see with our customers. It can supplement your reps and different locations that you might have as an organization. So it's great because the sync tool not only that we build out not only pulls up information for an e-commerce site, but we're now starting to talk about CIMcloud and where we're going with our application and how we've evolved this into not just a customer self-service portal, but also other applications, since we have the data we need to drive internally for sales reps, customer service reps, IT or marketing, ticketing systems for customer service type ticket requests. Since we have access to all that information, we're now building out further and further different applications for different users or different segments of individuals who would be using our application. And we'll talk further on that in just a second. Anyway, it's accessible anywhere, anytime, on any device. Everything we build out is completely responsive. So smartphone, big screen TV, tablet, doesn't matter. It's all going to break appropriately based on the screen size, and it's going to show properly and look like it should. Easy to use, and it's not going to be broken or anything like that. So the next slide here, why e-commerce? Just some quick facts on why e-commerce is popular and why most of the customers that we see or prospects that discuss with us are looking into it is because of these reasons here. So you can increase sales and enable growth at low cost to you, again, because it's self-service. You're not having to hire additional headcount to support that customer segment. It makes it very easy for customers to do business with you, thus protecting that customer segment that you already have and helping grow that customer segment. Just look at Amazon, for instance. So I'm a big Amazon fan. I use it all the time. It's very easy to use, and they've definitely solidified me as a long-term user so far until something else better comes out, but they're pretty much the head honchos in that space. So went on tangent there for a second, but they want to gain a competitive advantage is another reason we see this typically. They reduce operational costs. Again, we can increase that bottom line by reducing expenditures, and then also empower field sales reps, empower upper level management from the organization to view reporting anytime, anywhere, on any device. So a lot of different pieces that go into why should we discuss e-commerce, right? Next slide here is a little bit about website pipeline, just again so you know who's speaking to you today. We were founded in 1999, and we are based in Greenville, South Carolina, so we have one location, and we have about 75 employees on staff now, I believe. We are a cloud-based model or business entity or software as a service type concept, and we focus solely on ERP integrated front office customer interaction management pieces. So public and or private web stores, e-commerce stores for B2B or B2C or a combination of the two. We do customer self-service portals in both segments. We do sales rep tools as well, and now we're expanding into the CIM side of things, which I'll explain where CIM comes from and what that acronym means. But we have some pretty cool sales rep tools that use the same technology or sync tool that we've developed over the years to really talk and communicate with your back-end system to make sure everything's up to date. You have one system of record, i.e. your Sage 100 system, and everything's always in constant communication and up to date, so nothing gets left behind. There's no bad data coming in and out. Everything's correct, so you get great reporting, just easier to use, and overall better return on investment. Just some quick points about us as a company. So we do have over 500 active users currently. We are profitable and debt-free, so we're a bootstrapped organization. We just bring that up just to let you guys know that we're nimble, flexible. We make our own decisions. We're not answering to the big investor man upstairs. And then the largest customer is less than 3% of our total revenue. So effectively, our customer segment is very well balanced, and we're not having to answer to that one customer who drives the majority of our revenue when it comes to doing the R&D for the next version of our product offering. So just some quick points about us. Our target customers, so the individuals that we're typically having conversations with and customized demos and scoping out projects and ultimately trying to sell them our software and our solution, they're typically based in North America. They're in the distribution and manufacturing arenas. They are product-centric. We do have some customers that are strictly service-type organizations, like a trash hauler, for instance. We do build out AR portals just for them, but our bread and butter is product-centric, e-commerce, catalog, ordering, and stuff like that. The average customer of ours, there's kind of a bell-shaped curve here, but the median is really in that $500 to $300 million in revenue. That's the size of the company we typically deal with. We have some smaller and some larger, obviously, but that's really the bread and the butter there. And obviously, they have to use one of these 6 ERP systems that we currently integrate with. So we integrate with Sage 100, which is really how we got started as an organization. That makes up about 75% of our customer base. And then we do Sage 300. We also do Sage 500. We do Sage X3. And we also do Microsoft Dynamics AX and GP. So we're definitely looking to ramp up our investment and tap into almost the top 20 mid-market ERP systems, but right now that's where we focus, and there'll be some future stuff down the road that we try to acquire or at least build out. The problem we solve, so again, just to paint the picture and to keep you guys really, I want to get you engaged and start thinking about how you can help your customers serve themselves and what type of solutions are out there, and at least get the conversation going internally so that we can make sure you can compete. Because if you guys haven't thought about this type of solution or haven't discussed it internally, I can almost guarantee you that your competitors have, because it's just the way that business is going. So customer service, typically in this particular arena we're dealing in, manufacturing, wholesale distribution, it's stuck in the 1980s. Again, it's phone, fax, or emailing orders. It's one transaction at a time. You manually take the order and hand key it into the ERP system. It requires a large customer service rep staff to support the customer base because it is very manual. There are no self-service options, so you can't place an order online or create a transaction online. You can't look at your account history or look at past sales orders or look at your invoices online because, again, everything's locked down in the ERP system, and that's exactly what we build to get that unlocked so customers can view it while it's still all consistent and only those customers are seeing their information. So we really just want to allow them to have answers to their own questions, just make the workflow way more efficient when it comes to servicing your customers and doing business, because ultimately you want to sell products or services to your company. That's how you make a living, and we want to help automate some of that and make it more efficient. So just some insight there. This is a key diagram, so I know some of you might have checked out, or attention spans are always tough when you're busy during the day. So if you're going to focus on any slide in this presentation, please focus in now. Okay, so this one here is a 10,000-foot view of how our solution operates, right? There's three pieces to the pie, so to speak. The first one's going to be your Sage system, again, the heartbeat of your organization. The second piece is going to be the application that we build, host, and support all on our end, so you don't need additional hardware, server infrastructure, you name it. It's very much a software as a service type concept. We handle all the IT support, security, backups, PCI compliance, all that good stuff. So we build, host, and support that application on our end. Then we install this sync tool, which is the third piece and the most important, into your Sage server locally. So what we're doing is setting up this sync tool. The first job is to make a copy of all this information here in this left box that we need to drive the website application. So customer accounts, bill to, ship to, addresses, products, inventory levels. We can do real-time inventory levels, shipment tracking information, so you don't have to call up and ask you for the tracking information or send out manual emails with that information in it. Customer-specific pricing is a huge one for us, and that's how we really set ourselves apart from a typical Shopify or Magento site. So effectively, we're able to mimic or replicate all of the customer-specific pricing that you have set up inside of Sage, and we replicate that on the site. So as soon as that user logs in with their username and password, we know exactly who that user is. They're looking at their pricing on their products. They're able to shop between a grouping of products that are specific to them if you want to build it that way. We have a number of modules that can help profile or set up different customizations for different users based on what they're going to see when they log in. So user profiling is what we call it. So anyway, customer-specific pricing is a huge one. Tax schedules and codes, that's another big one. So if you have internal tax tables in Sage, we replicate those so that sales tax is always up to date with what's in the system. We also can work with third-party solutions like an Avalara, for instance. Invoice history, sales order history, and RMAs, the last three bullets here. This is a good way for them to have historical information on their account, again, without having to call your customer service rep up or their sales rep up. They can look at invoice history, sales order history. We can even handle RMAs or returns and requests like that. So first job of the sync tool, again, make a copy of all the data in these tables here so we can have it to drive the initial build out of the site. We then set up triggers in each of these tables here inside of Sage. So anytime you go in there to make an add, edit, or delete, so you're changing the name of a product, or you're changing the pricing for a specific customer, effectively in 30 seconds, that information automatically goes to the website because we've set up triggers to pick that change up. So no more do you have to change the pricing inside of Sage, which is the main system of record. That's your gospel of truth, so to speak. Then have to go into like a WordPress backend CMS system to change the pricing there. Everything's automatically done for you. So you change the price, 30 seconds, price is now reflected, even if it's just customer-specific pricing. So for customer A, you change price on product B, that's the only thing that's going to change. So we constantly are monitoring that information to make sure it's always up to date. So think of it as a cloud extension or add-on module to your existing Sage solution. We're very tightly integrated there. So we set up triggers. That's the second job of the sync tool. The third and final job is on the flip side, coming down from the website to Sage, right? So sales orders, customer goes in and places an order online. They might have a favorites list they can create on their own and put 5 products in there they're ordering weekly. Well, when they go in, they place the order, they place the quantity that they want. We already have their ship to built information so they can quickly check out with that information, or they can update it. We can even allow them to purchase those goods through the website with a PO or an invoice if you want to allow them to, because they may be a net 15, net 30 customer. So we can replicate whatever you have set up inside of Sage. They might be cash on delivery, might be net 7, might be net 30, what have you. We will replicate that. They can generate the PO if they're allowed to. They then push the order in, and what's really neat is once that order is placed on the website, again, we're dumping that sales order straight into Sage 100, for example, for you, and all the information is there as if someone hand keyed it, except no mistakes. So it's really good not only to get information in and cut down on data entry time, it's also good because you can eliminate some of the errors that happens from a fat finger data entry type scenario. So we're doing sales orders. Customers can change account information if you want them to have that ability. Credit card transactions, they can pay for the order at time of order if they're cash on delivery, for example, or if you want a customer to pay on terms and they wouldn't pay obviously then, they would come in and pay their invoice later. So we're very much in tune with the invoicing as well. We monitor that table inside of Sage. Anytime you create a new invoice, we're able to push that to the site, and the customer can then go on to the site, look at the invoice, look at the aging report, and say, okay, now it's time to pay. It's due today. So just a great way to serve the customer, allow them to do it on their own terms, 24/7. They don't have to wait Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to call in. So anyway, there's just a huge value add there. One thing I'll point out before I jump off this slide, if I still have your attention, is that we are integrated into Sage, but we're not dependent on that connection between the two to be up and running for the website to be live. So it's really another piece that stands us apart from other competitors, is that we have the information we need. If the connection ever goes down, you have to reboot your system, power goes out, what have you. We are actually able to then still have the website up and running because we have the data we need. We log all the interactions that are happening while that connection's down, and once the connection's restored, we then pass that information in as if nothing was lost. So I'd like to point that out, that we are standalone in the sense that we don't need the connection up and running 24/7 to have the website up and running. So it's just a good value out there as well. And then the only two things that typically our customers bring to us to make this whole application work is, again, the standard internet connection between Sage and us, and then also product data if they're trying to sell products online. Everything else we try to build out. We have a huge PM team here, ERP team, specific ERP team with a lot of years of experience that helps support the entire application and get that built out for you. So hopefully that slide makes a little bit of sense, clear as mud, right, as I like to say. So that's just a high-level example or diagram of how our solution operates. Next slide here, this is just another one of those slides. I'm not going to touch on this one too much. But this is just a different diagram showing that we have different applications that can go into this cloud database that we use to sync data in and out of Sage. So you can have APIs to make calls to like a WordPress or a Magento site if we want to do order pass-through. You can have an e-commerce store that we build out, customer self-service portals. Then we're really going to touch on the CRM functionality, because what's great about our CRM is it's constantly in communication with Sage, and it's not standalone, which is what we see a lot of CRM solutions actually doing. And that's why the majority of them fail, is you don't have all the data you need, so data doesn't get put in, and bad data in equals bad data out. It's just a huge mess. So we've decided to put out all the information in one platform that's speaking to that system of truth, which is your Sage ERP system. So just another example there, diagram. Here is a quick slide of the different flavors, I say, that we offer here at Website Pipeline. The first one is going to be a sync tool or API only, and that would effectively be us installing our sync tool locally on your Sage server and then exporting that data up to our cloud database. That we then expose APIs there to communicate with other third-party applications. So it's a good way to get information in and out, because the sync tool there behind the scenes, we already have that built out. So we offer that as a product or offering. We then have an AR customer portal just to make payments on invoices, such as a trash hauler as a good example, or a power company, for example. We build those out. The third one here is a B2B customer portal. When we are now getting into the product-centric type solution that we build out. Again, this is all on top of that first bullet point there, the sync tool that's really utilized to push and pull data back and forth. So the B2B portal, that would be behind a login. It's not public-facing site. It's only to your B2B type customers or customers that are existing customers and have to apply to be, let's say they have to be a licensed distributor or what have you. So there's credentials that they have to place or give you as an organization to validate they are who they say they are. They can do business in your state, for example, what have you. Anyway, it's behind a login. So when they come to the website, they have to log in with a username and password to know that it's them, and then they're viewing just their information coming from Sage 100, again, 24/7, on any device, anywhere, anytime, is what we like to say. So pretty effective stuff there, and that's really our niche, our B2B customer segment. The next one here is a B2B portal, which we just discussed, but has a public-facing catalog that would help generate new customers used as marketing material. Now, while the catalog is public, it's not necessarily open to the public to see pricing and place orders. We can lock either one of those down, so therefore it's just a marketing mechanism, but you have to be a vetted customer to be able to order through your site. So there's all different scenarios we can do there. The next one is actually B2B and B2C all combined. So we have public-facing catalogs with pricing, and anonymous users can order at retail prices, or the B2B customers can log in through the portal and then view their specific pricing, their terms, their invoice history, and stuff like that. So it's a combination of the two. Bullets 6 and 7 here, this is when we start to get into the new and improved product offering that we have here, where we've taken our existing product offering, bullets 1 through 5 here, and built out rep enablement tools and customer service tools that now allow your internal employees to use on a daily basis, remote, whatever device they're on. They don't have to remote into Sage to see a past invoice for a customer. Since we have access to all that data, we've now built out applications that are web-enabled or web-type applications like a HubSpot, for example, where your internal employees can log in, view information wherever they're at. So it's a really neat product, and we'll kind of touch a little bit more on that here in just a second and how we came up with that. As always, if you ever want a customized demo or go through some of these solutions, I don't have time to do it on this webinar here, but please reach out, share your ISM, and we can definitely get you set up with a demo. So that's the different flavors we offer. Key features that I'd like to go over of what our product offering really entails. It's going to be the real-time bi-directional integration with Sage. Again, think of it as an add-on product to your Sage system, which is your heartbeat of the company. I know I keep saying that, but it has all the data you need to operate, and it's typically or historically been locked in that system, and we've been able to take that data out efficiently and effectively with 100% data accuracy to make sure that your extension offerings, such as a CRM or B2B customer self-service portal, for example, are constantly up to date with that information. Scalability, we have over 700 modules outside of our base package offering that really allow you to scale as an organization. So this gets used across the board. It depends per customer who's using what, but typically what I see, if you've never had an e-commerce presence before because you've been in the B2B arena and you're stuck in the 1980s, if you want to try this out for the first time, we have base offerings that we can get you started. So we're very much in tune with the crawl, walk, run philosophy here. And we've built it out very modular. So we can start out with a base package. Let's get your customers using it, allow them to adopt that solution and say, hey, this is actually pretty neat. I'm going to start ordering from them more often because it's easy to do so. Once you get a return on investment and it starts to become more utilized day in and day out, we can then take that return on investment to continue to even beef this thing up more, right? So, you know, you can start out with a base package, and then in the back of your mind, you're wanting to eventually offer real-time inventory levels, which is a module we have. So we can install the website 6 months down the road. You say, hey, now it's time to turn on the inventory module. You would give your account manager, who's responsible for your site here after we're live, to support you in that transition and get you some information on how we can get that installed. So it's very modular. We can build it on top of the platform that's already existing. So just super flexible. The super user dashboard, which is part of the CIM, we've actually had the super user dashboard, which is a sales rep tool, for about 2.5 years now, and we've really blown this out to now do full CRM functionality, because over the years we've talked to customers, which I'm getting ahead of myself here on the next slide, but we've talked to customers in the past where they have CRM, it typically always fails because it doesn't have the data it needs, whereas when we jump into the sync tool and having the infrastructure there to communicate with your main system of record, it now has all the data you need. And not to mention it's all in the same application. So I got to stop. I'm going to ruin my next few slides here. We're mobile ready, completely responsive, so smartphone, big screen TV, I mentioned that. It is cloud-based, 24/7 support we offer. If the site ever goes down, it's on our end. You can put in a ticket, or you have an emergency contact line 24/7. They will get out of bed and fix the problem right then and there. We pride ourselves on customer success. We have some pretty cool customer success testimonial videos that we can get access to you. That would be cool to see, so definitely check those out. We have a website pipeline university training site that will allow you to have not only support from your project managers or account managers once you go live, but you have access to this information that has how-to videos to structure some of the content management system on the back end a little bit differently. So you're very much in control of the content on the site, the product catalog, what that looks like. We'll train you on how to use our CMS system, which is proprietary to the solution or website we build out. And then security, I know it's the last bullet here, but that is by far one of the most important pieces to us. We spend lots and lots of man hours and money to invest in security. We realized back in the day when it comes to that security, you either go big or go home, because we had a lot of big customers that we had signed up in the beginning of time for us as an organization, and we knew that we could not sacrifice security because there's a lot of sensitive information there, and it just wouldn't be good for the company or our customers. So we made sure to keep that at the forefront of our strategy going forward, and we always taken very, very high measures to make sure that our security is up to date and is always cutting edge. So we spend a lot of money there in investment time. Being a big organization that we are, and we've been very successful, we have the manpower and the funds to make sure we're doing that. We're not a web development firm operating out of the garage, which I have nothing against. That's how a lot of places get started, but we do have some very, very high-end security here that we pride ourselves on. So next slide here. CIMcloud by Website Pipeline. So this is one of the slides I thought I was going to ruin. Essentially, we wanted to make sure that, or we wanted to make CRM and what CRM was trying to accomplish, we wanted to make it better. I can tell you call after call I have with customers when I'm doing demos and discovery and really trying to understand their business processes, specifically if they have a sales force out there trying to sell customers, they're typically using some type of CRM. The issue is, I think the number is around 85% fail, CRM implementations fail, and it's usually because you got too much information in too many different places. Reps aren't putting the data or information into the CRM system because it's just hard to use. It's not in tune with what they have to use to quote out a product or get pricing. So we've come up with the idea or the concept to say, hey, well, you guys keep mentioning this to us, so we're going to go out and build you something. So we decided to take our super user dashboard, which initially was just a way for a user to log into the same application, the e-commerce portal, but flag them as an internal employee, and it gives them reporting on their customer base and allows them to view past sales orders and invoices per customer. Right? That's all it was in the beginning. That's phase 1 of our super user dashboard. Well, we're now on to phase 5, 6, 7 with our super user dashboard, and it's now called CIM. And CIM stands for Customer Interaction Management. And so it's I think an evolution of what CRM was trying to be, but didn't really accomplish because it didn't realize specifically in your arena. Again, we're talking ERP-centric companies here in the Sage and Microsoft space. They need a solution that has that information from their back-end system populated into their CRM. Otherwise, it's just there's data scattered everywhere. And I've even dealt with it here and in my previous jobs as a sales rep somewhere else. It gets very cumbersome when you have a legal pad with notes on it. I have my email. I have my CRM system. I have sticky notes. There's information scattered everywhere, and a lot of it's locked down to just access for me. So it's not disseminated throughout the entire organization. Well, we decided to take all of that information, since we already have the sync, again, into the customer account history, and build out the CRM platform that allows everything to reside there. So now what we've created is a CRM system that is also tapped into your e-commerce system and constantly communicating with that. It can effectively log the interaction that your customer has with a sales rep and with the e-commerce site itself. So what's happening is more and more customers are doing business through an e-commerce site and less through a sales rep, right? We'll still always have the sales reps, but a lot of customers are going to the website. Well, what happens is if that's the case and you have a traditional CRM system that's not logged into or communicating with the e-commerce platform or the financial system in the background, they don't have full visibility of how their customers actually interacting with them as an organization. So we're able to take the last time the customer logged into the portal, what product they looked at, which products they put in their favorites list, what invoice number they just paid, what the invoice total is, what the past payment was it credit card, was it ACH, is there a discrepancy, did they put a ticket in for a discrepancy on a sales order. All of that information resides in this CRM application called CIM that we've devised and developed, and it's astounding how much data we can actually get because it's now all one platform. So we know companies that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to integrate a Sage 500 system into their Salesforce CRM, and it was painfully a failure. So we see it all the time. That's exactly where we came up with this. We identified there was a problem, why the current offerings fell short, what the B2B dilemma specifically was, and then decided to say, hey, let's identify a solution and now let's create it, and therefore you have CIM and it's born. So that was kind of the long way around there. A quick diagram here, the B2B dilemma. So customer interactions are still stuck in the 90s. We've mentioned this on the e-commerce standpoint. I'm now talking e-commerce, CRM, ERP, all tied together, right? So what it used to be is you had phone, fax, email meetings. That was stuck in between customers who would do business with you, which is how you survive, and then employees here at the bottom had to go through some type of communication channel, right? There's something stuck in the middle. There's no way around it. Well, what we're trying to do here is optimize. I'm going to skip that slide. Optimize and hit this goal of full and complete optimization by allowing this tool to sit in the middle and allowing customers and employees to interact with that tool as much or as little as they want to, right? So you might have some customers who are smaller mom and pop type stores. You don't have a dedicated sales rep to them because they're not doing enough volume to justify the spend on that rep dedicated to that customer. So you want them to do 100% of orders through their online portal, and a lot of times that's very successful. You might have a customer who's 50-50, maybe a little bit bigger customer, but has a sales rep tied to them maybe 50% of the time. So you still need someone to give some white glove service at times, but you still want them to be able to order through the website as well. So there's a huge quoting capability that we have on the back end system that you can generate a quote. It resides in the same application. Customers can interact with it. It logs it. Then the customer service rep or sales rep can log in and view that quote. What did the customer do with it last time? Did it approve it for, or did it send it to approval for order? Did they submit it to a sales rep to get a quote on a price? We have different order actions. I mean, since it's all living in the same application, the opportunity is endless on how we can build this solution out and how we can optimize every customer interaction you have, whether it's someone who uses the website 100% of the time or 0% of the time. Both parties have access to it. So, you know, interaction data is collected, it's organized, it's visible. The tool has capabilities for data to allow customer self-service, employees to interact with it efficiently, managers to manage effectively, which is pretty cool. So we can chop this data up since it's all data-driven and present different reporting based on which users log in. You can have a CEO, you can have a territory sales manager that has 4 sales reps under him. When he logs in, he not only sees his information, but he can view his 4 reps and what their customers' interactions are. There's again, just huge amounts of data they have access to because we have everything we need on the back end, along with how they're interacting with your tools to provide self-service. So it's pretty neat there. Apps to integrate, again, we have the API set up. It's a very robust API structure, so we can drop in data in any other application you need. Again, just allowing us to plan for the future of how this technology is going to be implemented in the B2B and manufacturing arena. So some cool insight there. Pretty exciting. I get a little excited talking about it. So anyway, the new customer or new software segment we discussed, customer interaction management. Again, just think of it. I know we've touched on a lot of data, a lot of information here. I know it can be very overwhelming at times, but effectively think of CIMcloud. Hopefully you don't just think of the goofy bearded guy on screen. Think of CRM, e-commerce, and what you already have, your ERP system, being able to communicate 24/7 seamlessly and always have the same information. If there's anything you take away from this presentation, let it be that, and we would certainly love to get you in on a scheduled customized demo with a sales rep here. We have a great group of guys and girls here, so about 75 people strong. We'd love to chat with you, show you what we have here, how we can help you keep and grow your customer base, and ultimately do everything better, faster, and cheaper, and we all look like rock stars. So that's all I have. Sherry, I think that's the end of the spiel. We do have a white paper that we'll try to give out as well. So any questions?
So I'm going to unmute the line. Well, actually, I can't unmute. So, Cicely, do you have any questions? You can use the chat window.
Yeah, she can chat it in if she wants.
While we're waiting for that, if you do want the white paper, Pat, yes, please send me a copy of that. And if you want the white paper or do have any further questions, you can always contact us at AM for account manager, am@goism.com. And I'm not seeing a message come through. So with that, Pat, I'm going to thank you for your time. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. Remember, all of our ISM Lunch and Learn webinars are posted up to our YouTube channel, so if you need a link to that, just let me know. And thank you, everyone, for your time. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and join us for our next ISM Lunch and Learn. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.